This definitely looks like a child drew it. Do you want to see my moose chart? Isn't it fun? And then I ran out of room, and so his tail is over here by another chart of one of my ugly and lazy designs. My Wednesday sweater, that vest is incredible. It blocked out to a great amount of generous ease. It's super casual and drapey for Cascade Eco. I'm wondering if it was like a merino type blend. It has a softer feel to it than this. Maybe it was like Eco Plus, or there was something different about it. I have to look in my queue, or in my Ravelry. I'll print it at the bottom if it was, but it is incredible. I'm sitting in a different place today because when I sit with that picture frame right behind me, no matter how straight I try to get the camera, when I'm setting up and it looks straight to me, and that I get to editing and that picture ledge is off kilter, and it drives me crazy trying to fix it. I'm fairly new to Final Cut Pro. My brain is maxed out with all of the technology it can take in just to make a stupid, chatty podcast. So I just tried, and I also didn't want to set up both lights. I ended up doing it, but anyway, I'm just in a corner. So Lori really said she liked watching. She enjoyed the Gilmore Girls episode. It made her want to rewatch all of the episodes again. I felt like kind of like rewatching too. It's crazy. Even though I was tearing it up, I had so many, oh my gosh, I had so many images I grabbed for that, and clips, and I'm still on the fence if that was good to do. I used the tiniest little bit of clips. I want to respect other people's property and work, so I don't know. I don't do that with, I do it with designers when I feel like they're okay with me showing their stuff. It's advertisement for their things, but and that's the nature of the internet now, but it was not easy. It was a labor. You know, there's those times where you think you want something and then you get in the middle of it and it feels really surreal and you're surrounded by trouble and you think, what have I done? I was like that when I got braces. Like, my mom wanted me to be able to have braces, and they were saving toward that, and she passed away. And so after she had died, I was of the age to get braces. I was like 15. My dad was going to take me to do it. My stepmom didn't want them to spend the money on it, but I got them. I was like, no, my mom wanted me to do it. I want to do it. And I remember sitting there, and that thing is in your teeth, and my mouth is out this wide, and wires are literally coming every direction, and they're going doing, 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 doing like that, hanging off of my face. And I'm like, what have I done? Am I dreaming this? What have I done? That's what it was like when I had this folder of images to drop into that video, and I was titling each one GG with a number, and I realized I got to GG 102. And I was like, what am I doing? Is this mental illness? What is this? I went ahead and made it. I'm glad I did, but I think it was She Bear said that coincidentally, Knits by Whitney, Whitney Knits, made one on size-inclusive Gilmore Girl patterns. And I was like, oh, why didn't that come up when I searched? Because I went looking, has anyone done this? Because I don't want to do it if someone else has done it. I didn't see it, but it hadn't been released when I was still researching. And she mentioned that she got the idea from someone else who had done it a week prior. And when I went looking, I found Knits by Mandy. So there's like 3 other people with Gilmore Girls knitting podcasts out right now, but I felt like Knits by Mandy, hers was very similar to mine, and that she's talking about storyline and plot a little. And she had seen that Kendra Gaylord video, the videos that I said were so good. I linked them. But my whole point in saying this was, if I had known that someone had already done this, I never would have done a video that took that many photos. But I'm kind of glad I didn't know, because, or those videos weren't out when I was researching, because I'm kind of pleased with it now that I've made it. And also, it's out of my system. My rant is over. I feel all the peace in the world about Rory. Also, that granny stripe yoke sweater of Paris's, Kaylin mentioned that there's a pattern out by Iron Lamb called Granny Go Round. I really like it. It looks a lot like the granny yoke, but it's, instead of looking like a yoke sweater that just slowly increases, it's got clear raglan shaping. I really like it. And Kaylin was saying she might use Advent skeins, like mini skeins, for coloring the stripes of the top and then make the body solid, kind of like Paris's. Very cool idea. So I've linked that too if any of you are interested in it. Gosh, those knitting roundup type episodes are super, they take a toll. And that's why this time I just wanted to chill. I just wanted to chat a little, because I'm going to be involved in a retreat in the next few days. I'm not going to be able to maybe make a podcast when I normally would. So I kind of wanted to just talk about what I'm making a little and what's going on with me. So if you're into like topical podcasts, you might not want to watch the rest of this, but if you're smart, you know that the ramble is where it's at. Look at my progress on this Simply Irresistible thistle seed sock. Isn't this excellent? Oh, I just love these colors. I love how it looks, and it's a really great study on how color from light to dark can create a sense of relief. Like, these light sections look like they are more textured and coming out sort of 3D, but they're not. It's the same pattern all the way down, but I really like the effect that a subtle almost stripe is giving it. I don't think I would like it as much if it was true stripes. But yeah, this is a little slow going because it is fingering weight. And because it's such tiny yarn, I do have to really pay attention and make sure I'm gathering, I'm doing my patterning of slip stitches correctly. So it's made it hard to watch subtitled shows or any show in the evening. So it's very slow going. I have something cooking. I got this book. I'm going to be reviewing it this month. After I've looked at some of the patterns, I want to read through all of them and then work. I want to start a blanket. I want to start this blanket. And I want to work some smaller things, possibly for gifts, for Christmas, for people. Before I talk to you about it, I'm not going to talk to you about it like I'm going to give you an honest review of what I think of the book. But this was gifted to me to talk about if I like it, or just talk about it, but I'm going to like it, and give one away. I'm going to have a giveaway at the end of the month. But this, I was really excited about that opportunity because this was actually on my wish list, this book. And it was for this very pattern. I thought that would be so fun, and it makes me think of camping through West Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California and Utah. Just the cactus. And the cool thing about it is it's mosaic knitting, so I won't have quite all of these balls hanging from the blanket as I work. It's just two colors. It's a color changing yarn, an ombre, not ombre. Yeah, it's mandala ombre. I'm not going to open them because I'm fixing to have to go. My husband's making dinner and we're bringing it to my daughter's. And I'm rushing to do this, but can you see it? Oh, I'm going to have to open it. I would never, ever think I would buy this color for anything. But, I mean, look at what it makes. And then the color that goes with it, I really like. You'll know that I like it when you look at it. This rainforest color, I think that's the name of it too. Yeah, rainforest. So, I mean, they do complement one another well. But just would you have ever thought, you know, so many of you love these colors. I'm thinking of several of you right now who love these kind of bright colors. But they're not really me so much, at least not in a sweater or I've never, well, in a blanket, yeah. Not in a sweater, but in a blanket, I would totally do it. So I'm not going to be finished with this blanket in time for by the end of this month, but I do want to talk more about this book, and I'm really excited about casting on some of the smaller projects, maybe one or two as a gift, and just talk to you about the writing style, the directions. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I really do like mosaic knitting. I love the effect of stranded knitting, right? And even the intarsia. And several of you said to you a graphic knit was something that has text on it. Like Anna said, her first thought for a graphic knit would be something that has like an oversized picture on it or image, like Papa by Junko. And in that same vein, Jen mentioned alyssum. That is another like flowered, floral, it looks like drawn almost, hand drawn. And that's what I think of when I think of intarsia. I think of a picture, an image, a drawn thing, kind of like this. This definitely looks like a child drew it. But I'm really excited to not be doing something with a million ends hanging from it. Especially, can you imagine a blanket with a million ends? That's why I like the granny stripe. I just like how simple it is to just work your ends in as you go. So this is coming. And speaking of blankets, I might have a little more progress on this one. I've worked on it a few times since I sat down. It's going to be ongoing. This is the Beginner's Delight, and it is for a beginner. It is super easy, and I'll probably use 3 balls of that mega mandala. So I'll have 6 ends, and that's it to weave in. And you can't beat that for a blanket. A blanket without a ton of ends, that's nice. Especially when it's multicolored. I'm just gonna run through a few graphic knits because I talked about the graphic knits the Wednesday vest that I was making. I'm making another graphic knit. And I said that graphic to me is, you know, high contrast, often geometric, and Hannah mentioned also symmetry, some sort of symmetry involved. But She Bear said that she was looking for things that were graphic but with less contrast. And Red Lipstick mentioned a sweater her mom made her in the 80s when she was crazy about the show Fame. And it has the Fame logo, or had the Fame logo across it. And I think what a cool gift for a mom to make. Carrie mentioned the Max cardigan, which makes me think of my monster plaid sweater. It makes me think of another one that I've mentioned from Olga Grishina. And she mentioned the Great Gingham. So these are plaids. And the Queen's Gambit by Sissy Yao. You know, Anna mentioned at first Papa and thought of something that's sort of drawn. But then she started thinking about the 80s and 90s and all those great Kaffe Fassset sweaters, Meg Swanson and Selly Melville. And I'm just going to show you a few from each of them because they really are awesome. And again, they are becoming the style again. But for a while there in the early 2000s, they weren't at all. But I have all my old interweaves from, some maybe from the 90s and some from the early 2000s, and have all these great type graphic design sweaters. The Big Flower is a really recent one from Knitty. And I feel like it's the most current version of one of those types of sweaters. But, you know, House and Roses by Kaffe Fassset, that's fun. And that incorporates some like larger blocks of color with the little drawn aspect, you know, hand-drawn look. Jen was also saying Skein Deer Knits Selbu coat is what she thinks of as a graphic knit. And of course, like something like this, of course it's high contrast and black and natural or black and white. But yes, I would definitely call that graphic. And that's all over print. I mean, all over stranded knitting. So that's going to be a really great kind of heirloom piece, Jen. So other than that, I haven't really chatted boring personal stuff with you guys. I did say I had gotten a Pilates reformer and actually a chair. It's not the greatest kind of chair, but it's the most passable cheap chair. And these chair workouts are crazy hard. It's one of the most challenging things concentration wise I've ever done. And it sounds so silly because when you look at it, it looks like some cheap as seen for TV weird figure firmer thing. But as I was doing it, I felt like there's been some issues with mobility. I've had a lot of SI joint problems, low back problems. This is total women my age kind of talk right now. And I joined an online Pilates group. It's online Pilates classes. And they were having a workshop on a type of movement, back extension. And then they had a workshop. I watched a previous one with Claire Sparrow. She's a Pilates teacher, but she also focuses on pelvic health in men and women, but most of her clients have been women. And I just watched it because I was like, Mom, it's free. Let me watch it. She started talking about complications from childbirth and issues of pelvic floor issues that could be affecting you today. It was nothing like what I thought it would be. And I realized I did have a traumatic second childbirth because my stomach split. I had diastasis recti. And I've had issues with breathing and really took that whole, they talk about bringing your belly in to support your spine and up with Pilates, with a lot of exercise. I would do that to the extreme. Like I tried to keep, because I had the diastasis, the splitting of my stomach muscles, my abdominal wall. I was so weirded out after surgery for that. It's a pregnancy thing. But after surgery, I was so weirded out about it. I was like always thinking, pull it in, because I was just weirded out. I think about inhaling and fully belly breathing. Like I didn't really even get how to belly breathe. And she describes a type of breathing that's paradoxical. It doesn't work with your diaphragm. I was doing it. And when I started correcting that, just my breathing, my chiropractor, it's been a month, over a month. He has not had to adjust my sacrum hardly at all. I'm not having to go every week. I think I'm taking in more air, more oxygen, because I'm not breathing paradoxically. And I noticed a lot of movements that I used to could do really well, but I felt kind of like some chain was broken, kind of kerplunk as I would do them. Say in Pilates or something, I'm able to do them. I just banged out real guy on the feet military push-ups one day. I've been doing them on my knees for months, but I've been doing that for years. But it's like, anyway, this is the book. So like if you've had the obvious pelvic floor issues that most people, women as they get older, talk about, like you can't jump on a trampoline, and if you cough or laugh too hard, you pee accidentally. Sure, this is for you, but like it could be stuff that you don't even realize is tied in to the pelvic floor. I felt so fortunate, so blessed to watch that, just to catch that on a whim. I didn't really think, there's nothing in it for me, I thought. And I've just noticed a change in my low back issues, the mobility of it. It's not my SI joints, my sacrum, things aren't hurting. They're not constantly shifting out of place. When I do other exercise, strength training stuff, I don't get hurt as easily. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I haven't even gotten all the way through. I'm like right here. So I basically read her whole premise, and a few basic exercises to do. I'm not doing her whole program yet, and I've had that result. It's been really nice. It's been nice to not like jump up off the couch and worry if like my SI joint's going to go out. I have had that issue since I had diastasis recti, since my stomach split. And I didn't connect the two. And I thought about how after that surgery, no one told me anything. Like, wait 6 weeks to exercise again. Oh, and I was an exercising fool back then. I was pretty addicted to working out. Everybody in their 20s goes through a phase, right? I'm still pretty into stuff like that, but as soon as it was time, I got right back to it, and I did all these things to try to make my stomach strong and pull it in and up, and all these, I just went overboard. I think because I was afraid of it splitting. It was creepy. It was creepy, the way it looked and the way it felt. So, also the bill for surgery. That's a really good thing that's recently happened. I also, before doing this, before I had read about this, I had been looking into Mindy Pels. She has a YouTube channel. I think she's a chiropractor, but she talks a lot about body mechanics, and she talks a lot about fasting, intermittent fasting, and I have never been on board with it. Like, I fasted before. I've tried it. I've done it for health reasons. I've done it for spiritual reasons. I've done it accidentally. But I felt that it was hard on women, especially if you have had any sort of inflammatory issue or a lot of stress issues, cortisol type stuff. I don't like to do things that will stress my body out, because I've shared before over the years, I went through a seriously stressful period, and it really, really harmed my health. So I don't like to do things that might stress the body. However, she came out with a book, Fast Like a Girl, and then I think The Hormone Reset. And I got both of them on sale on Amazon Kindle. But I think I started Fast Like a Girl. And her point was that women can fast. It can be good for women. And it's made to kind of protect you at different points in your cycle where you would maybe feel most like vulnerable to inflammatory issues, stress, and such. So basically at the time of your cycle, there's ways to eat and time your eating window that will actually produce a little more power and energy in your body, and then ways to take care of your body and just kind of go into hibernation, self-protection mode. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try, because a lot of women have tried it and have had success getting rid of the last little vestiges of hormonal changes at this season of life. And I thought, well, okay, I think I'm there at that season of life. So I'm starting my 3rd month today, and I can see changes. Like, I can see improvement in certain symptoms I was having, hormonal symptoms. It's just so freaking hard to do a 17-hour fast. It's just hard to line it up with all the activities of life and everything else that's happening. If I lived the same way every single day, and it was just me and my husband, I could do it. Easy. Oh, it's also hard to give up cream in my coffee in the morning. That's just not fun. I literally could do anything if I could just still have a little cream in my coffee. But I don't know. I've had some good results from it. I had an initial detox. I broke out. And I had actually started having cycles again. So maybe it wasn't actually that time of my life yet. So that's been interesting. I've wondered if you've heard of her, and if any of you have done intermittent fasting to deal with hormonal issues, any kind of like female stress, inflammatory hormonal issues. I would be interested to know. And also, have any of you heard of Claire Sparrow or her book? Okay, well, that was super everywhere, all over the place, but that's just what you get this week because I didn't have a lot of time between episodes. Oh, I gotta go. Bye.